Hello everybody, this is Pete from PA Labs, and I'm going to do a video on graphics for those of us who cannot draw a lick. Okay, so I have some source material here, and this is pretty neat stuff. They got some great images, and what I want to do is build a mountain range. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in, and that's by holding the control key and using the mouse wheel on paint.net. And then I'm going to grab my square selector tool, and I'm going to deliberately grab a little bit big for this graphic. Now I'm going to try to line two edges up. And if I don't get it, great. And I didn't get it. I got short. Always go long instead of short. Matter of fact, let's do that. I'm going to go deliberately big, and I'm going to copy that. And then we're going to say edit, paste into a new image. And now we can zoom this up. So we can see that we didn't do really all that good. But that's okay, because I'm going to select all, Control A, and then I'm going to Control X, cut, and then Control V, paste. Okay, so I just cut and pasted it right back in. Now I'm going to use my cursor keys, and I'm going to move him to that edge and to that edge. And then I'm going to come up here and say image crop to selection. So now I've got those two edges. Now we can come over and say canvas size. Let's go to image canvas size. And so we've anchored that bottom right corner, and we happen to know that this is a 96 by 96 graphic. So then we can say, okay, now there's our perfect graphic. Now that we have him, let's go ahead and make an extra copy. Paste into new image. Okay. And now we can take either one of these, and let's go make our canvas size 256 by 256. Okay, so now we have a canvas size of 256, and we have our graphic in there. So I'm going to copy it again, Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to actually say edit, paste into a new layer. Now you can see over here on the right that I've now have two identical copies, one on top of the other. You can't see it here, obviously, because one's on top of the other. But I have layer 2 selected. And now I'm going to use the cursor keys and just slide it on over and then made it back up. Okay, and I am going to zoom this up a bit so we can see it good. And we will let those join just like that. And now I'm going to merge down. So now I have one image that's two copies of the same image. And now I'm going to Control A and copy, Control C, and then say edit, paste into a new layer. Once again, we have two layers, identical layers on top of each other. So you can really only see it over here in the layers. And again, I'm going to select layer 2. And this time, I'm going to hold down the control key when I do the arrow left, so it goes a bit faster. And then we'll move it back, and then we'll mate it up exactly again, and then merge down. Okay, so now the whole bottom of our graphic is a mountain range. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, Control A, Control C. We're going to copy that and edit, paste it in again. And this time we're going to go up. Okay, and then we will mate it back together again. And then I will go ahead and say, edit, paste into a new layer again, this time holding control and arrow up, and then I will mate that in again. Okay, so now I have a 256 uh, graphic that is nothing but mountain range, right? So here's the idea. I'm going to take that and we're going to, let's see, where would 128 come out? So 128 is about half. So that would look about like this. Well, you know what? This is twice our normal size. I know. Let's take a look at it this way. So let's say canvas size. This is a cute trick. So we have twice our graphic, right? The graphic is 128 for my game that I'm working on. So I'm going to select the center hex and let's see what 128 and 128 does. Now, what it should do is decrease all four sides to where the center 128 is left. Okay, so we can do that, and there we go. Now, if this is right, what we should be able to do is take pictures of this and say, this is going to be a mountain range. Now, how do we go about doing that? So I'm making graphics. I just copied that whole thing and I'm going to say paste into a new image and then image resize to 48 by 48. And then I'm going to copy that, come back to my 128 and say image canvas size. And I want to anchor at the bottom. So when I make the top 276, the height, it only goes vertical. Okay, doesn't touch the width at all. There we go. And then I can paste into a new layer my 45 and merge it down. Now, if you notice, there's a similarity of this to the graphics that we used in the Ultimate Map Maker. And there's no surprise here. I'm trying to build images that I can utilize with that process that are going to be used for the various hexes, okay, and squares. So what I have is, let's see, let's come out here to hexes and let's open up a square hex and a pointy top hex, okay? And we can, let's see, open, right? There we go. So we're going to open those up. And now if I take these, let's grab that one, the flat top hex, and say edit, paste into a new layer. And, oh, wait a minute. Why is that not right? Why aren't you're 128 by 128. Didn't I make this 128? Oh, that's 96. Oh, that was the original. Ha ha ha. Hold on. Control Z. Control Z. Now you should be, okay, he's 128 by 128. He was the one I was thinking about. All right, so we're going to edit, paste into new layer, and that's what our mountain range will look like with that. And if we're using pointy top hexes, we're going to say edit, paste into new layer. And now let's hide the first one. So that's what it'll look like with this graphic. Okay. Now, my idea is, if you notice, I have a negative. Let's go ahead and open this. So this is a trick that I use in paint.net, but I now know I can do this in Pure Basic and code, right? So edit, paste into new layer. If I would do this and selecting layer 4, come over and click the center of this layer. Now notice it conforms to this magic selection, right? And now I'm going to come down to my layer 1. Oh, wait, hold on. Go back to here. I want to edit, invert the selection. So now I've selected all the black in that layer. Now I can come back down to here and hit the delete key. All right. Now, when we look at our flat top hex, it looks like that. When we add a border on it, it looks like this. So we should be able to stack all of these graphics into an area. So let's test that theory. I'm going to merge the border down and then make a copy of that graphic. And let's come over and say, let's build a 256 by 256 graphic. I don't want the background. Okay. And then we can paste in our hex, right? So he's in that top corner. So edit, paste in on a new layer. So now I have 2 of them, right? So let's slide this guy over and down. And made it up. And then edit, paste into a new layer, and let's move him just down. See how this is gonna made up. That looks like a pretty respectable mountain range. Paste into a new layer, and let's move him over to about there, and let's go up with it and back over. I would say that's a pretty doggone good looking mountain range if you put it on a map, wouldn't you? Okay, so there's my mountain range. I've built a hex. It's got everything in it. So now there's a lot of code that has to happen with this, obviously, for this to work, because I can print this as a negative and turn all of this black area into emptiness. Okay. And that's using a different print mode when I build the graphic. Okay. That'll all have to be done. And it'll have to be done based upon what is your graphic selection. So there is building a graphic for a person who can't draw a lick. We just built a mountain range graphic set that can be used in a ultimate printer or ultimate map maker style of map maker. Now, this is going to be the design for the graphics for the new war game, the war game studio that I'm working on the graphics for. And I know this is getting long. Maybe I can come over here real quick and show some of the, I went too far, flat top images. Okay, so we have numerous images being created. So Not all of them are of the right style and set yet, but I'm going to be building these out. And just like I did for the Ultimate Map Maker, I'm going to redo the map maker for the war game for the um, what is it, studio version, and be able to do that same sort of painting style of graphics. So with these graphics. So anyhow, that's the end of this video. And I want to thank you for watching on how does a person who can't draw build graphics in paint.net.